Conversations with friends.
Mental health in our community, I think there are two different sides of the spectrum, in all honesty, because there are instances where I see that it is getting better, where some people are more
Conversations with friends.
What are some of those things? What are some of those things that you feel that people don't want to talk about or don't talk about? Some important things that we do need to communicate.
Conversations with friends.
You could give somebody a compliment like you look nice, and you could tell them that every time you say it. Next thing you know, you up in HR. They got
Conversations with friends.
Hey, good evening. Let's talk, beautiful people. And this is Conversations with Friends, episode 6. The title is The Legacy of Kevin Samuels. Like him, love him, hate him, unapologetically of himself.
Yes,
I will say that this topic is very, very interesting. I know myself and this panel and my co-host as well, even doing some research on this particular topic and wanting to discuss it, it could incite some feelings inside some people. So I'm quite sure we're going to have a very interesting discussion about him. And like I said, and like the title was made, like him, love him, hate him, unapologetically himself.
Yep.
What's up, you guys?
What's going on, Q?
How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Doing well. Hey, Mello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Faith.
Beautiful weather.
Hello.
I mean, the heat is definitely upon us in the northeast.
Yes.
That rain need to go somewhere, but you know that rain is coming from the heat having all types of stuff going on up there.
Yeah, the weather's definitely breaking. Feels good out here.
So I will play. I think that the best way to set off trying to understand Kevin Samuels, I actually have the audio of the viral moment. Kevin Samuels actually has been doing this for over 10 years with his image consultant business. And I think that explaining some of his background would be able to explain who he is and maybe your perception of who he is. So I'm going to play the audio of his viral moment.
So that makes you, if you give yourself a 5, that's average.
Yes.
So average looking women tend not to get high earning men. They tend to get average men. So that makes you, if you give yourself a 5, that's average.
Yes.
So average looking women tend not to get high earning men. They tend to get average men.
So that was the clip that went viral. Even Kevin Samuels himself actually admitted to that was the moment where doing what he does took off and went into a whole different stratosphere.
Right.
As far as his image and consultant business, as far as his TikTok, far as his Instagram, far as his YouTube. When Kevin Samuels passed away, he had 85,000 TikTok followers, 40,000 on Twitter, 1.4 million on YouTube, and 1.2 million on IG.
And Q, I would also like to add that he also tried to talk to the men before he talked to the women. So along with his image consulting, he had talk shows actually getting at men as well. I think we lost.
We're gonna get into that once I play this video as well. So does anybody have, like, where are we going with this? Melodic co-host, the life legacy, love him, like him, hate him, unapologetically him, Kevin Samuels.
Indeed. I definitely feel like he was definitely a character, that's for sure. Although I do agree with some of the things that he said. I think that his delivery was absolutely off. I feel like when you are rude, and because he was downright rude, he was brash, he was abrasive.
I disagree.
And that's fine. But the message can get lost when you're when you're being rude and disrespectful to people and hurtful. I mean, you can give someone advice and that's fine, but when you get to the point where you're criticizing people and saying hurtful things, I mean, he would be like, oh, hey, Big Shirley and whatnot. Like, come on, that's not necessary. That's not necessary for you to prove your point. You don't have to tear other people down.
So you feel like he had like a good message, but you just don't like the way he relayed the message. You feel like overall his message was okay?
I feel like sometimes his message was okay. I didn't always agree with the things that he said,
Okay. So first and foremost, I'd just like to say rest in peace to Kevin Samuels and the utmost respect, because I feel like he's opened a lot of eyes to a lot of people, both men and women. We're talking about a person that had 1.4 million followers, not for no reason. The 70% of his followers were women, which means about 1 million of his followers were women. So he was teaching people a lot of stuff. A lot of people nicknamed him the Godfather. A lot of people said that he saved their marriage, and a lot of women followed him. So overall, there's a controversy, but this man did his thing. So rest in peace to him, and just thank you for getting the conversation started, because I think it's a necessary conversation. But one of the main things that he talked about, and I think that people get offended when they start hearing things that kind of touch on maybe something that you think is offensive. But you got to remember now, this man is coming here unapologetic and speaking to women about relationships and getting at them in a way that's going to get their attention. He also said a lot. He also brought up the fact that in relationships, women don't have any bars hold in terms of saying what they need to say to men. We all heard, I don't want no scrubs, and you got to pay my rent, and that's all real fashion and woman power about it. But when it comes down, you transfer that to a relationship, you're having a problem. So I think that's what he was really trying to highlight: the problem, the obvious problem in Black relationships. How do we solve them, and what's not being addressed? So I think we probably need to address some of those things that you think were rude, because I think that some of those things that you think were rude were actually just kind of truth serums that hit people the wrong way.
Well, okay.
We'll discuss that. Milton, you kind of took Melodic Storm there. She was doing her opening of how she felt about him. I'm not saying that she was upset that you interrupted her when she was explaining.
Were you done? Mello?
No, I wasn't. But go ahead.
I wanted to get finished with Melodic, her opening about him and what she thinks of him, as well as Faith, before we
started debating.
Yes, we kind of dissect how we feel about this man.
Well, I don't know what the structure is. Let's just talk. Yeah.
Melodic, was you done?
I'm done now.
Oh,
we can move forward. I'm gonna let Faith go.
Oh gosh, make sure you say everything that you need to say now. Don't leave it on the table.
Oh, I will.
Please
you don't have to worry about it.
Not worried.
All right. Well, my opinion on him, rest in peace. to him, to Kevin. You know, I decided to come on a show because even though I didn't care for the way he taught, you know, I just think it was very disrespectful how everybody reacted to his death. You know, I feel
Agreed.
respected that regardless of your opinion of them. You
Definitely,
respected that.
definitely.
But
Absolutely.
he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Some of the stuff he say be true, funny, but his delivery to black women, I did not like. I felt as though he breaks them down, you know, and you could tell somebody about themselves without trashing them, making them feel low. And you know, some women came on his show with very high self-esteem, and he broke them down.
Hmm.
And I think from coming from a black man, that kind of, you know, was ugly to me.
Okay.
Go ahead, Faith.
Also, no, that's just basically how I felt about it. That just, you know, his delivery was horrible, in my opinion.
So what part of the delivery was horrible? Because I'm hearing the second time again. Y'all telling me not to interrupt, but I
Okay, I'm
still
gonna
don't
give
hear
you an
anything
example.
specific. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you an example. It was this woman on the show, and in my opinion, I think she was a very pretty woman.
Mm.
You know, she had one child. She was about 36, and she was asking him why she can't. She makes six figures, and she want to know why she can't meet a man making six figures. She keep meeting men that's don't have a job, or you know, not making a lot of money or whatever, and she's like kind of carrying it. So he said to her, um what do you give yourself? And at first she said a 7. And he said, no, take away your weave and your makeup. I give you a 4. She said, okay. Like, Will accepting it. Like, wow, that blew me away. Because for one, I feel as though he can't give nobody anything because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She may not be
Absolutely.
his type, but somebody else, you know, she may be drop dead gorgeous. You know, people like different things. So I didn't care for the way he did that. And then he told her because she had a child, basically she like used goods, and it's gonna be very hard for her to marry somebody, and somebody with six figure. He said, why would they want you when they could get a supermodel and with no kids, younger than you? Like, basically you just broke her down, and I just thought that was so ugly.
I think so. I definitely don't agree with anybody breaking anybody down to prove a point. That's definitely not gonna. Because even if you're making the right point, you automatically divert the conversation to something condescending, and they stop listening to you. So I definitely feel like that's not something that I agree with. But I think that a lot of people misconstrued his straightforwardness for insults. So I think that when he was telling women that are over 35 years old, based on his, his logic, and which I feel like a lot of it is true based on the numbers, is that at that age and stage with a kid, for the type of man that you're looking for, he has a lot of options. So if a man that's in his well-to-do, and he says, like, men start getting well-to-do in their prime with financially between 44 and 55, that type of man is looking for a woman, between, as he said, in like mid 20s to up. I think mid 20s is a little bit low, but he's saying that that man has an option to pick. So why pick a woman in her 30s?
Well, I wouldn't want
Hold
a
on,
man
hold
to.
on. Why pick a woman in her 30s with a kid when he has options for other things? So he's just saying, like, have more of a realistic view of what you should choose or what you should
But I
expect
don't
based on
agree
your
with that.
situation. Because at the end of the day, like a brother would tell you, I don't know, do you have a brother or like male friends that will tell you anything?
Hmm.
Right. So they tell you what's in the mind of men. They don't tell you what you want to hear, like your girlfriends. Oh yeah, you popping and yeah. They tell you like, yo, listen, men are at this level, and there's certain men that's at certain levels based on what they did in their life or whatever you want to consider a high value man. But they have more options because the numbers are kind of in our favor right now in terms of what's available for women and what's available for men. So he's saying that women just need to come a little bit more humble with their approach because a lot of women are overvaluing themselves and they don't realize why they're single or still alone.
Well, I disagree with that because, you know, she make her own money. And
Mhm.
honestly, I wouldn't want a man to want me from the way I look anyway.
Right.
I wouldn't. I would want him to love me and want to marry me for everything I got to offer, all my flaws and everything. So I wouldn't even want that type of man.
But that's men though.
Visual.
But that's men. Men are visual. Overall, we're gonna be attracted to you from the jump. Yes, we'll fall in love with you, and that's what's gonna keep it going. But from the jump, You know what I'm saying? A lot of women have a lot more patience for men that's not, beautiful on the outside, because y'all looking at the whole men are visual. So if men have a choice, that's the way he's gonna meet you, the initial attraction, you know? So
Yeah,
that's what
but
he was. Go ahead.
yeah, but you may be initially attracted to somebody because of their looks. And I mean, in all honesty, excuse me, they say they never judge a book by its cover, because she can be nice and golden on the
Trust me, I
outside and
know.
rotten on the
Exactly.
inside.
I met her. I know.
So let me before I play this video, and in the video, I don't think it's gonna say more than we already know about Kevin Samuels. It's just an opinion, or opinion by 4 different people actually, and I just think that his perception, how you perceive him in his audience, I think is definitely in the eye of the beholder or in the ear of the listener. So I have this video I'm gonna play. I just want everybody interesting video.
Seemingly taking delight. Some people don't care. Other people are of the opinion, it's somebody that died. Y'all shouldn't be taking delight. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't care that Kevin Samuels died. I straight up honestly do not care. And I think that expecting people to take the moral high ground in this situation, when he joyfully and willfully terrorized so many Black women, feeding them abuse under the guise of truth, is just a bunch of BS. There's no moral high ground here for me to take. I honestly don't care. I feel bad for his mom. But as far as he's concerned, I could honestly care less.
I'm of the agree. I agree. When people all of a sudden, when people are hated or have strong opinions about people, we all talk about people, okay? And we have our opinions about people based on their actions. And because they die, does that mean that they are just, they are free and clear? Do they get a fresh stamp? I mean, I didn't hate him. I didn't love him. I thought he was entertaining sometimes. And I respected what he did, what he built. I really do. And he's a different perspective. And I think we do need to have different voices on social media. We do. That is a fact. We can't just all be the same and in agreement. And he did stir the pot. But the way people are policing Black women, how we should feel in trying to check women that don't have the sympathy for him. I mean, you shouldn't be celebrating and dancing on his grave, but stop trying to tell Black women how they should feel about this, and you should stop and all this nonsense.
Can we really unpack this for a second? There are a couple of things that you said there that I agree with. And one was, I'm sorry, I just feel you should never celebrate another person's death. He is still somebody's brother, somebody's wife, husband, someone's son, someone's cousin. So I do feel that. But can we unpack this? Because let me tell you what really shocked me. What really shocked me about this is I studied his analytics on his social media platform, right? And like I shared, he had 1.4 million followers. Do you know that 70% of those followers were female, Black females? When you look at the demographics of his analytics, 70+% were Black females. And that just blew my mind, because from his analytics, they showed how much he made from Black females following and supporting his podcast, and it was north of $3 million. So can someone help me understand a person who made a career out of shamelessly disgracing Black women, which is horrible? Why was 75% of his followers Black females, and why were they purchasing or following and supporting his content to the tune of $3+ million?
So Kevin Samuel didn't start off the way he finished. He started off really actually being critical and holding Black men accountable, but that wasn't getting the traction, because we all know the consumers are mostly women, of entertainment on social media and all that kind of stuff. So when he started switching it to be a little bit more combative to Black women, his numbers went through the roof. And I'm gonna say this: I used to listen to I don't know if you guys remember Tom Leykis.
A hypocrite, in my honest opinion. He really was. I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African-American women on a consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, he was a shock jock. And, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't.
She sound mad. She sound mad.
Milton, I'm gonna ask you for your take on that.
I mean, from the first guy saying that he didn't care if the person that he was dead because he didn't respect his opinions, I kind of stopped listening after that because I kind of put him in a category, kind of like what Faith said in the beginning. Like, regardless if somebody has a difference of opinion, it's the whole reason why this show is here. It's the whole reason why we have discussions. It's the whole reason how we grow. So he dismissed him and said that he didn't care if he died because he had a difference of opinion. And again, he didn't say anything specific. He disgraced Black women. He said this. I've seen the shows, and I've seen when he's gotten kind of testy with women and called names. And he was an entertainer, but people do this all day, every day, and people talk about men like this for years as a fashion. Little dick energy and all types of crazy stuff that you don't even want to repeat, but it's emasculating to men that are just trying to do whatever. So I've heard this, and it's been a norm. You hear it in the songs, you hear it in the media. So when he was telling women certain things like, yo, listen, you're overweight and you're putting yourself out of contention for the type of man that you want. Hey, look, fresh face out the shower, blah, 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 without all the lashes and the weave and the makeup. You know what I'm saying? You're average to cute. I never seen his show where he called somebody ugly. So all of these things, hold on 1 second. But all of these things that the people are saying, I feel like it's more general, and he touches a nerve and then they dismiss themselves.
Let me ask you a question, Milton, because you referenced to a song that was popular when we were younger.
Yeah, Scrubs. Yeah,
Scrubs, and how it went viral. The actual writer of the song died. What do you think would have been the response back then if men would have been celebrating that she died?
Definitely appalling. They would have disgraced that man. They would have hung him to the crucifix, because at the end of the day, there is a double standard. And you know what, Q? I'm not really too against the double standard, because I feel like women are fighting for equality, but they don't really want equality. They want equality when it's convenient for them. They don't want the hassles and the things that men go through. They feel like, and trust me, I get it that a lot of women are forced in positions to be men now. But this whole new thing where man is the new woman and woman is the new man is led us to a place where there's no structure in the home. And at the end of the day, whether your man is making $50,000 or $150,000, you have to treat him like a man in every respect of the way. So I feel like women are a little bit overconfident nowadays. And I'm not just speaking just from what Kevin Samuel said. I think the proof is in the numbers. I've been out there, I've dated, I see the mentality of how women think. They think that, sometimes their shit don't stink, like it make patties. Like, what's going on? Like, at the end of the day, a woman chooses who they have sex with, a man chooses the relationship. So how are you a man? How are you a man?
Ladies.
Okay, so I have a couple of things to say.
Please.
First of all, how is tearing someone down entertaining?
How is he tearing him down? That's the whole point you never explained. How does he get?
So when you're calling someone fat,
Mm-hmm.
and you're average, you're gonna die alone by yourself because of the way you look and stuff like that. How is that entertaining?
Well, a lot of women that he was telling that they were fat, they were a little fat, and they were a little overweight.
Okay,
and the expectations that they have for who they're gonna get, they weren't gonna get them. That's all he was telling them. Based on where you're at, choose the janitor. Get the guy on the block. What's wrong with him? Because there's nothing wrong with you, because average got to meet average. Average is not going to meet top 5% and be okay. They were unrealistic.
Melinda Gates is average as far as looks. Since we're talking about looks and the way that people look, etc. Most of these guys, their wives, either they have like a arm piece, who's usually an airhead, or they have a average or below average looking woman.
Okay. I'm glad you brought up Melinda Gates
because he stepped out on her.
Listen, no, not that he stepped out on her. They have an arrangement. See, when you're dealing with men that are in that top percentile, they deal with women that understand how they think and how they move. So they're not cheating on their wives. They're how did Kevin Samuel said? They're exercising their options. right? Because Melinda Gates came up there and said, this $1 trillion man or whatever, I know he got a man. I know he got a shorty. I'm okay with that. And I don't need his money, right? That's not the only person. We've seen Bill Clinton stepped out on his wife, did what she did. She held it down. She kept it moving, blah, 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 because they on a different epsilon. So they know that, you know what, that cheating and stepping out is not that it's not that serious to them. So you
Because
gotta,
all is money.
no, it's not just money.
No, you
It's
gotta
not just,
understand
go
it.
ahead.
Even the women, I'm sorry, even the women that messed with Kevin, Kevin wasn't hot, boo. He wasn't hot. He ain't
What
had
you
that
mean?
banging body. He wasn't, if I seen him, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, he's so gorgeous. And no, those women that he had on his arm is because he had
What's
that.
hot to you? What's hot to you? Because he was a good looking man. He was a good looking in shape man. What's hot to you?
No, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. See, you think he was hot. You think he was
I don't think he was
attractive.
hot. I just think that overall, I think that he was a decent.
You
what,
think overall?
But what's not attractive? That's why I just asked you a question.
What's not?
I feel like he stays too long. He acts like a woman.
He
I
acts
think
like.
that he like
And you
men.
know what's
I thought
funny?
he was gay.
You know what's funny, Faith? I thought the same thing when I saw him. When the
thought
first
he
time I
was
saw
gay.
him, I was like, you know what? But I gave him a little pass because of geographically where he's from. But you know what? I try not to judge people based on that, because based on my Caribbean background, I was very judgmental when it came to that, or just hearing a sound or whatever. But no, that's not where I'm at right now. So I gave him a chance to talk, and he was talking about a lot of things that I was saying way before I saw Kevin Samuels. So let's take away, all right, he's nasty sometimes. Oh, you know, he said this to a girl one time. Let's talk about the longevity, what he's talking about, because he's trying to bring Black families back together. And no, none of y'all have addressed that. None of y'all.
How is he bringing
Right.
anybody together if
Okay.
he's breaking them down?
He's not because his objective wasn't to break him down. It was
I
the
think
objective to make them realistic.
I think
You could be realistic, and if see, I don't believe that. Like, see how you said you think he was attractive. He's
I didn't
not
say
my
that.
type.
I did not say.
No, you say he's a nice looking man. You did.
I said that he's a decent looking man. He is.
And
No. Okay, so I just want to say this. First of all, I don't think he was a decent looking man. That's first and foremost. I mean, I think that. Wait a minute. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So my thing is, okay, and I'm gonna say, please don't dismiss my opinions. I'm not dismissing yours. We're here to debate. But
listen to Mello.
Okay. In all honesty, you can. He dressed nice, but you can dress up a monkey.
Yeah, I know. The girls do it all the time. They
I
got
think
weaves,
that,
eyelashes,
I think that,
makeup, all types of stuff. They be hiding behind a lot of stuff. At least I know how he looked.
One of the issues is that we need to understand one thing, that Kevin Samuels never said he was a relationship consultant. He said that he was an image consultant.
Indeed.
His Kevin Samuels did a lot of things,
and he
privately.
was a self-proclaimed.
Let me finish, please.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He had a very lucrative business.
Very supported by women.
One of his things, he did a lot of private consultation, and one of our problems is that we attack the messenger a lot of times instead of listening to the message. Kevin Samuels dressed accordingly to his age, and people may not like how he looked or whatever. He dressed like a 58-year-old man supposed to dress. And whether a person likes him or not, is that he, in my opinion, he raised the bar in the consciousness of, if you expect something from someone else, then you should be expecting that of yourself as well. And it's almost sad, and I'm not here to attack any women, but it's amazing how his sexuality came into play.
Everything.
How he looked came into play.
His kids,
because he criticized women. People even got to the point where they would talk about, oh, he's been divorced. It's a lot of people that have been divorced. It's a lot of people that pay child support. Oh, you pay child support don't mean you're a deadbeat dad. So I just want us not to get caught up with what people think of the messenger, even though it's about Kevin Samuels, instead of the message, because I really believe that it's a deflection tactic that a lot of us use and for lack of accountability on our part.
Okay. The irony is that people are reprimanding or ridiculing him for being offensive, and only thing that I can say wrong with him is something personal. I don't like the way he talked. I don't like the way he looked. He may look gay. What about the content of what he's talking about? Can we have some intelligent conversation?
So first of all, it's difficult to hear the message when it's maxed with negativity and insults. Because just like you said, when the other video was on, you said that you basically tuned the guy out because you didn't like his delivery and what he the thing that he said and his delivery. So basically, you didn't hear what he was saying.
Well, what he said to me didn't make sense because he wasn't calling a name. He said that he didn't care about the man dying because he didn't. Kevin Samuels never says something ignorant like that. And as a matter of fact, are we talking about, because you're talking about snippets of insults? He did way more educating to women. Way more educating to women than insulting women. There's a lot of women that got off his show and was thanking him. Mostly women follow him. Mostly women have given him his riches. So why do you keep on saying that he's an insulting person that's putting women down when they're thanking him? What is he doing to you? What is he saying to you particularly that's hurting? That's
he's not hurt. He's not hurting me or saying anything to me that's hurting. But my thing is, you can be empathetic to someone else when the insult is not directed at you.
So let's talk about his message.
I think one of the things in the video, and the reason why I played the video is because we want to be look at it objectively. I'm offended by the video personally because he did not terrorize anybody.
Disgusting.
And this is why I'm very careful with the wording of how people describe certain things. Kevin Samuels didn't do nothing but sit at home on his computer and critique women. Now, he may have used some interesting adjectives, but he critiqued women based off of criteria that is quote unquote the standard. And then he basically started using the word high value because majority of his callers would say, I'm making $100,000 a year. I want to meet my counterpart. Well, if you're going to meet your counterpart, you have to be in those circles where your counterpart is at. So he would use the criteria. Okay, so you're divorced. You may have 2-3 kids. Like I remember one time I watched a show and the young lady was like, I cheated on my last husband. I got 4 kids. I got a kid that I had outside of the marriage. And I believe because of his experience prior to the viral moment that he kind of knows what men are saying and what men are asking. So I don't think that he was just saying things to demean people. I think that one of our biggest problems is that we want everything to be palatable. And some of our best lessons came at a bitter moment.
Yeah, a lot of times.
So that's just my personal opinion, you guys.
And I agree with you. I agree with you, Q, 100% on that. And it's like some people that women that's saying that he's so offensive. Some of their favorite artists that they listen to on the radio are calling him much worse. They calling you the B word. Y'all twerking to them. Y'all still listen to the music. You're acting like y'all don't hear it. But the whole lyrics and their whole aura is to put women down, and y'all still listen to that because they got a rhythm to it. So I just feel like if we're not addressing the message, because nobody has talked about the content of what he's talking about yet.
Because I don't agree with it.
All right, so let's talk about some of the things that he's talking about, since y'all don't want to talk about it. So I feel like overall his objective was to heal. But when he talked about men and women being equal, he also talked about Black women are the only women who want to find success without a man. So, all right, he talked about our community a lot because he was kind of trying to pull us together more.
Could you explain that?
All right, so he said that Black women are the only women who like to find success without a man, or who feels like they can find success without a man. So basically, he's saying that every other woman, in terms of culture, first of all, the word submissive is like kryptonite to Black women, right? But every other woman in every other culture submits to their man. Every other woman in every other culture looks at success as having a husband and a family and having those rituals, and they set those in place. And he talked about, how Black women are raised by their mothers of being, independent. And trust me, I have 2 Black daughters. I love them, and I'm a mama's boy. I love my mother, right? But at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong, and you have to judge it by the results. There's a lot of Black women out there that are single right now. There are a lot of Black women out there initiating divorce, and it's a mess up for our society because the kids are getting the brunt of that. So that's what he was trying to do, trying to bring everybody together. And I think that women need to readjust their lens a little bit in terms of what's important. In terms of what's important, yes, you can make your bag, you can make $100,000, but to somebody who's making a 6-figure salary, I don't care about your money. I care about you being able to support me and to be able to nurture the relationship because you're good. How much money do we need? We still need a family. So now we having a sword contest of who got the most money, and I don't really need you, so don't say too much to me. And then you got a bunch of black women out there with kids that's single and still talking about they don't like Kevin Samuels because he said that I was fat. Some of y'all are fat. And I need to lose weight. I listen, I exercise today. I'm 40 something years old. It's not a problem to be a little bit chubby and to be realistic. And he called women that are over 38 leftovers. I don't think that he means that you're leftover. Like, I love the mother of my children. I love all black women. However, you have to be realistic with where you're picking. Because these women have 2, 3 kids, 4 baby daddies. They took my cookies and this, and I want to get this man here. Well, how? Why would he pick you? You know, because he's such a rarity right now. Why would he pick you? Unless if you want to be with him, he can exercise the option of having other women. And there's women that are in that elite spot that let their man do what they have to do.
See,
and it's only taboo to us in this society because right now, what we're doing right now is very new to us. If you go back and you look through society of how it's been for thousands of years compared to the last 100, it's completely different. So we're getting used to a new form of how we handle stuff. And we're running into all these problems because we've abandoned the old values that we have. And everybody is supposed to be popping now. I'm sorry.
So do you think that somebody that's making that's wealthy, that's rich, because his wallet, he should have a get out of jail free card and sleep with who he wants?
No, definitely. I don't think that cheating is this difference between cheating and exercising options. So if me and you are together,
if you're married and you sleep with someone else, is cheating.
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. Because if me and you are married, I'll tell you that I'm sleeping with some other people, and it's your option to leave. That's what I'm saying.
See, that's the thing with. That's why a lot of women have their own money, because some men that's wealthy and the woman coming with nothing, he's able to do all that because she's staying because of stability. You know, you talking about, honestly, the way you're talking about people that don't honor love and don't honor marriage and don't want to be with one person.
That's not
they feel like they got
true.
money. I could do what I want. If you don't like it, I can get a younger one.
That's not
a better
necessarily
model,
true.
a better version.
There's a higher divorce rate with people who don't have money than people who do have money. So money's keeping it together. It's not about the money. It's about living who you are. First of all, men are not the only people that's cheating. So please, let's bring that down.
No, I
women
understand
are cheating
that, but you saying
just as much as men.
Would a man
No, I'm not saying to allow it. I'm not saying to allow it. I'm just saying that.
Okay. Say I'm rich.
Okay.
It's because I'm rich.
As a female.
My husband should understand I have other
options
and I might sleep around a little bit.
You cannot do what a man does.
I don't want
understand that.
I don't want
do
the
you know that we feel the same
and still
way?
be a lady.
You guys,
I'm just saying.
I don't want the conversation to go on cheating.
Because it's not talking about cheating.
I want the conversation to talk about and reflect about Kevin Samuels.
But my thing is, just because a man has money, that does not necessarily make him desirable. I mean,
no,
all money is not good money. That's first and foremost.
Exactly.
My thing is, can I finish what I'm saying?
Of course. Nobody's blocking you. Please finish. I need to hear what you're saying.
Oh.
Please.
Just because you have money, that doesn't make you desirable. You can have all of the money in the world and you can be a horrible person.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, and then the point is that there are women that will throw themselves at you just because you have money. Exactly. My thing is that's who you want to be with. Basically, she values you by your wallet. That's it. Not because you're intelligent. Not because you're intelligent. Not because you know what.
No, so let me finish. Can I talk?
Go ahead. You sure can.
So first of all, it's women who put the value on money. We get money regardless. So we chase. Hold on. But it's this difference. Don't you see the difference between a man who has money and 40-something years old and a woman who has money and 40-something years? Don't you see the difference in their life? Because a man is a man and a woman is a woman. We have to address that.
Absolutely.
So yes, Nikki. So hold on. Let me answer your question. So first of all, he's not putting a value on money. Women put value on money. You guys put yourself in left field for money, bend over backwards for money, do backflips for money, cheat on your husband for money. Stop making that face, because we're not talking about you. We're talking about the numbers and what happens. And the reason why women don't want to settle for an average man is because they settle for an average man that's picking up garbage, but they're looking at the businessman as he walks by. And if somebody give you a little vibe, you dipping off. Listen, I'm not saying that Women have to just be
One
realistic.
of our viewers is lost. You
Well,
guys.
she probably just signed in, but overall, I feel like women should just be realistic, and everybody should be realistic. Men are realistic with where they could choose from in their picking pot, because men will get deaded if a woman doesn't feel like what you making or what you look like, and very, very testy with men, always been. So now here's a man that's standing up with his chest, and he's speaking out saying, like, listen, I'm not taking this anymore. These women think they're a little bit higher value than they are, and he's not speaking from just being subjective on himself. He's talking from the numbers. There's single women out there that need a husband, but their mentality has twisted them that they're pushing good men away.
Our viewer feels as though, from what she's been watching, that the topic has veered into more of, we want to continue talking about like him, love him, hate him, unapologetically of himself. And I do think that, like I said, because I probably segued into where this discussion led us by Kevin Samuels basically using a criteria that he has heard set. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I'd never even heard people use the phrase high valued until him.
Right.
So value for many of us on a personal level could be varied. So I think that when we start looking at money, character, what they may be doing for the money, I think that this is where the gist of what he was doing and where he was going, from what I'm hearing, is where people can't get with, because they're too busy concerned about the adjectives that he used when he would say statements about a person's height. And he would always ask, one thing that I noticed about him is that he would always ask females that called to rate themselves. And you very rarely hear a woman, she may say she has self-esteem, but she never said she was a 10. And I think that speaks to the psyche of how a person may feel about themselves more than how he may feel about them. I mean, I don't, even when he says things about men, I never once felt as though he was talking to Q. I think that a lot of times, in my personal opinion, people got offended because that speaks to some insecurities that they may feel about themselves.
Yeah, they definitely heard their name, Q. And that's the only reason why you would be offended by a man like Kevin Samuels, a successful black man. He's breaking records on YouTube and trying to bring families together. When he was actually talking about black men, because I've heard him rip into black men before, or rip into a man before, like, yo, what's your weight? Boy was like, 280. He was like, how much money you make? He was breaking him down. He was like, get out of here. So you was a fat F. You was a fat F then. I didn't hear one woman say anything about that. And that's an old video that you saw, Faith. So that came up to kind of rebuttal everything that people are saying that he attacks women. So overall, I don't even think Faith really understands what he's saying in totality. I think you heard one or two insults and you went left. No, for real. I don't think
that's
that you really
not
have a full understanding of what he's
video.
saying.
I saw the video.
I'm laughing.
A full video?
He degraded that man as well.
Exactly.
Right, and exactly. He asked.
No.
Yeah, he asked him if he had a big dick. Exactly. And then the guy was like, "What?" Because he was a little jarred by what he said. And he goes, "You heard what I said. Do you have a big dick?" Exactly.
Okay. That's only proving my point.
Let me ask the ladies a question about that. Right?
I'm a woman.
That's harsh. That's harsh. I sure did too. I did too.
I feel bad.
It's not harsh if you're talking about a topic in terms of getting people. Women are calling and they're asking, "Why am I lonely, Kevin? Why can't I get a man, Kevin?"
No,
and he's telling them,
"What's his dick big?" Like,
no, I understand.
Let me ask you
because
what?
he can't get it.
Let me ask a question.
Real.
Let me.
You have to be real, boo.
It's a question.
I'm very real.
It's a question, and it's a statement. And it's
not what he had.
Wait a second.
Pardon?
Wait a second. Milton,
let's listen to Quentin first.
Okay.
Let me just say what we see. Those of us that deal with social media, and we talk to people on social media, those who we know, and those who we know very well, and those who we don't know. My only question is, when he made the reference to the young man about his genital size, with all due respect to women, this is the stuff women talk about
all day.
Like when a guy looks ugly, first thing they say is, "Oh, he must got something serious down there." The whole eggplant on social media came from women.
Y'all come on
So
here
I'm
acting
not
friendly.
saying
Well,
I'm
no,
not wait a
no.
second. I'm not
Uh-huh.
saying I'm not trying to put
But
this
that's
on women, but what I'm trying to say is we can't pick and choose what we're offended by because these are some of the same things that women say about
They
men
can't take their
and
medicine,
each
okay,
other.
Q.
but he's
They
saying it
can't take it.
directly to a person. He's not speaking in general.
No, he
He's
just
saying it
asked him.
to the
He didn't
man.
say he had a small
Okay,
genitals.
now listen
He
though,
asked him, "Do you got
listen,
one?" If
Right,
you
and the guy was taken aback when he said
yeah,
it.
because you know
he
why he was
didn't. He
taken
was
aback.
shocked. Like
You know why his
Because he's
bluntness
soft.
to get
Because
to
he's
the
soft.
truth
That's why he was
was
taken
took him
I
back.
think
aback.
he was. I think
Yeah,
Kevin was soft.
you're right,
And
Q.
then Kevin said he had a big dick, and he wear the tightest pants. I never saw a print.
See,
I mean,
I
you
was
weren't about the
looking.
wrong things, though. You
I
weren't
never
about the
saw a
wrong.
print.
So what? So
Okay,
what?
so where the
But
big
that doesn't
dick
mean.
at?
Come on,
Because
Faith.
we look like
watch,
he
You should
watch the
said.
listen to all those
algorithm,
No,
you guys.
Quentin
videos.
said it.
What?
We look. We look.
Don't
I
forget
know
we
y'all
on
not
Like
only
I look at
look, y'all.
athletes.
we on YouTube.
I
All right.
didn't see. I ain't never saw a print. Not even a little lump. Not even a
I get
tiny
it,
one.
but Faith, you need to listen to the whole video because he was talking to you. He was talking about situations that we don't even realize. See, and another thing is this: to be completely respectful, Faith, because I respect you as a black woman. But there's certain things that we've got to realize we're all programmed. Do you agree with that?
In
Based
a
on where
certain
you grew
way.
up? No. Based on where you grew up, based on your parents, the way you talk, your language is not even yours. Remember that they stole our language, so we don't even know our name and our language. So please admit that we're programmed. So now
Get to a
also,
certain degree.
okay, so whatever degree you want to say, but overall, I feel like I'm programmed. So when I realize that I'm programmed, I have to reprogram myself if I see it's not bringing me to a right place. And right now, we're going to a place that's destroying the black family. You know, black women as well as black men don't have the same, don't have the right ideals to keep us together. You know what
I
I
agree with
mean?
Anthony. Sorry.
Now that part is true. Like, let me
You're
see.
interrupting me to say you agree with Anthony, but overall,
Sorry.
let me see.
I wanted y'all to look
All
at
right, so can
the
I finish
comment.
talking and you
Yes.
get the same thing that you get? Because you know what? Women don't like to give men respect. And when y'all get disrespected, y'all get real frilly with it. So you just told me not to interrupt you. You interrupted me to tell me that Anthony was talking, but that's the whole tone of woman. Y'all can say what y'all want when y'all want to say it. And when we tell you that, you know what? You may be a leftover because what you're looking for is not, you're not going to get that.
But you've
So
been
you need to
cutting
be on.
everybody off all night.
No, I'm not cutting it. I'm not. Listen,
You
I say
have. You cut me
sorry.
off. You cut her off.
Because
Dirty
Faith,
one.
you don't have much to say. You're talking about his dick print. And you talking
No,
about
I
stuff
did not
that's
have
not
much to say. You was steady talking. You
that he
cut
don't look
everybody
good.
You
off.
guys,
I
You
mean,
brung up the dick. You brung up
Okay.
the
no, I
situation with the
didn't.
fat guy, not
Okay,
me.
you're right, because I'm
guys,
telling
Not
you that he
me.
gives equal
I was
opportunity
just
to everybody.
responding
He
to
calls
what you
everybody
brung
fat.
up.
He calls everybody
Okay.
fat.
So
That's a fact.
all right.
responding to you.
Wait.
Listen, we can all
Okay. So
lose weight.
first and foremost, I wanted to point out because first of all, the comments flash across the screen. So I wanted everybody to take a glance at it. It wasn't about disrespecting you or cutting you off, but agreed. I think we've all cut each other off tonight and we
Right.
do it constantly. That's first and foremost. So let's all be accountable for our actions.
Guilty.
Agree.
Okay.
Okay, and
so
so
one
the
of
whole.
so hold on,
Okay.
the statement that flashed across the screen that I tried to put up there twice. My man Anthony said, "Do you agree it don't matter about money and career? It matters how the other person treats you and your family." I'm gonna answer that question, and I'm not trying to be funny when I answer this question. I believe that most people are full of crap. Men and women are full of crap when it comes to this because we get on social media and we sit and we talk about a standard that we all want from our partners, but then we settle. It makes no sense.
That's
And
true.
then it comes from the lack of accountability. You done settled. I'm speaking for I too. You done settled. You done fell on your face. You look stupid because you didn't think the snake was going to bite you and it bit you. And now, instead of being accountable and saying, you know what, I settled, I need to, grip down and be disciplined enough not to be wanting to be with somebody and let me get myself together and find that person that I don't have to settle for.
Well, first of all, nobody's perfect, Quentin. That's first and foremost. No one is perfect. So I think that everyone.
Melodic, I think that we're using. I get that nobody's perfect, but when it comes to relationships, and in Kevin Samuel's eyes, people was calling this man to ask him about marriage. I do think we need to be perfect. These are life
No,
changing
no.
decisions.
I don't agree. I don't agree. No one is perfect, and everybody has things about them that you don't particularly care for. That's even down to your kids and your parents that you love so dearly. So everybody has, their flaws. My thing is, you have to, like, if you love someone, if you have common goals, if you get along, and and you see yourself with this person over the long haul, you have to realize that this person is not perfect, and there are going to be issues no matter what. There's always going to be issues, whether you want to admit it or not.
I'm not
That's
talking
not the
about the
dispute,
person.
though.
I'm not talking about the person who has chosen someone. I'm talking about the person who lacks accountability. The person who sits there and, for lack of better words, has called this man's show, feel as though that they're giving him. Kevin Samuels never, in not one show, male or woman, just started talking. One thing that he did is he took the information that a person gave to them, and he asked them, well, what do you think you deserve? Why you think you deserve this? And this is what I don't understand about us as people is, like my aunt used to say, you lay down with dogs, you're going to get fleas.
And that's not true. I've seen instances where people have called in and he saw the person on the screen and he's like, "Oh, hello, Big Shirley. Hello, Big
But
Lady."
you keep on saying the
Stuff like
same
that.
thing, Mello. You said that when
Mhm.
you came on Mello, that he said a lot. You agreed a lot of things that he says.
Some of the
But you said,
some of the
let me
things that
finish.
he
Let
said,
me
I
finish.
agree.
Let me finish. All
Go
right.
ahead.
So you said that you agree with a lot of things that he said. You also said that you don't like his approach. All you have
Right.
been talking about is approach. Can you tell me one thing that he said that you agree with? Because it's content. This
Okay,
is
so
who's making you love or hate somebody, not because they call names. It's because of what they stand for.
Okay, so I agreed when he told the woman, he asked the woman, he said, "How tall are you?" She was like, "I'm like, let's say 5'5" or whatever." He was like, "How much do you weigh?" She was like 230 pounds. And he was like, "So don't you," he asked her how much she made. She said she made six figures. And he was like, "So don't you feel that you should go to the gym and you should invest in, in your health and making yourself look better or whatever, you know?" And she was like, "Well, he actually said maybe you should get a trainer or something like that." And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go to the gym." He goes, "But can you agree that the gym is not working for you?"
Right.
She's like, "I've done that before, whatever." He was like, "Right. So you don't know how to get yourself, back in shape or what have you, whatever." I absolutely agreed with what he was saying when he said that to her. So, like I said,
Right.
there were instances where I have agreed with the things that he has said. And in that instance, he was not disrespectful to her
Okay.
when he said what he said. I was able to stomach that. Go ahead.
Okay. And I'm not trying to cut you. I just kind of want to get into kind of so I
Mhm.
don't forget.
Right.
But we keep on going back to this weight thing. The fact of the matter is that most people are overweight.
Yeah.
I could say I'm overweight because I work out and I try to keep it in check and I try to eat right. All right. So everybody can act like they're not a little fat. That's fine. If he wants to call and you get advice of why you can't bag something, he's telling you like, yo, check this, check this, check that. It has to be direct. Let me give you some facts in terms of what's going on here. Because in terms of like real facts and things that he said, like content that's going to really help us to help women understand men a little bit more. Like women want this equal play of like, you do it, so I did it. You do it, so I did it. And men and women are not equal. They're not treated equal in this country either. 92% of men and women who, if they go to court, 92% of the time, the women get the kids. That's not because the woman is the better option, but that's something a man has to deal with every time he has kids with a woman. 86% of the time when men and women get divorced, the men is left in a financial shambles. 86% of the time. Why do you think men are going to be so eager to jump in to get divorced? I mean, to get married, because they have a lot to lose if that's not the right person. The majority of people in prison are men. The majority of people who commit suicide are men. The majority of people who deal drugs are men. The majority of people who get murdered are men. When men and women commit the similar crime, men get 4 times more time in jail. So what equal do y'all want? What equal do y'all want?
Well, first of all, I don't believe that
I'm not trying to be
men and
equal
women.
to men.
Right, exactly. To me, a man is a
Yeah, I'm
man and
not
a
trying.
woman is a
No, but you guys
woman. There
say
are
that
differences.
convenient. Okay, I could give you
All right.
instances where women think that it's a man could do it. So what, Faith, you just said,
No,
suppose I had money.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree
Okay.
with that because
I'm,
if I sleep with 10 men, I'm a whore, and if men do it, they man. Everybody know a woman can't do what a man could do, and believe me, don't I promise you, don't no woman want to be as strong as a man. We don't. We don't
I
want to
know
have
that.
to. We had no
And
choice. Listen, from the way
I'm
they set it
listening.
up for us, the way they
I'm
set it up
listening
for us
now.
was to
Hmm.
separate us. You know,
Definitely.
the men.
Absolutely
The reason why the
agreed.
women went out to work because they wouldn't hire our black men.
I got it,
Remember,
Faith. I'm with you.
so now the woman and how can I say it back? It was the '60s, and when it was the women right
Civil rights
movement,
movement.
that
Yes.
really was for white people, white women,
Hmm.
because the men wasn't valuing them.
Oh, now
They
you
couldn't
preaching.
speak up
Yes,
and
ma'am.
blah. And so when the civil rights was going on, the black women sided with the white women because they felt as though it was more important the women's rights over race.
Right.
You
Not
know,
knowing was a
and
trick though.
yeah, so everything that's going on now is all set up. It was their plan to separate us. Don't no woman want to go out there and bring home the bacon, gotta come home and cook, take care of the kids, and do all of this. We want to be submissive. We want to be fragile and sensitive. You know what I'm saying? And
So
a
Faith,
loving
I'm with you.
flower or whatever.
I'm with you
But
100%. How could we
all the
do that
men are
though?
not making all the
Okay.
men are not making six figures. All the
Mm.
men are not trying to have a happy home. They want to be out here and have a woman but sleep with everything. It goes both ways, even though it was designed like this.
So you think that,
Women was created as a helpmate to men. We was
right,
Absolutely
created
agreed.
as
right.
a helpmate.
But that's not what's happening though.
No, and we was created for y'all as a gift. Do you understand? Y'all supposed to treat us accordingly. We supposed to act accordingly.
Definitely.
Absolutely
Period.
agreed.
Definitely. That's
Agreed.
everything that I'm saying though, Faith. And we did get bamboozled. And the system does keep us down and keep us apart in ways that we can't control, from financially to where we live to giving black mothers incentives for black fathers not to be in the house. They used to come around and check the
Agreed.
house to make sure that the
Agreed.
black man wasn't there, or you're not
Agreed.
getting this money. And that's
Agreed.
how child support and all that stuff came, because it was more lucrative for the woman to actually make him leave. So all of these things, once we factor those in, Faith, how do we get to the point where I could look at you as my sister and I could come over and spend time with you and your husband, and I could bring my wife and we have a healthy relationship?
It's supposed to be like that.
And that's the predominant thing that's happening. So you said that you don't feel safe. You said that men out here just out here cheating. Is that the main problem? Why you feel like women?
That's absolutely a
That's the
problem.
main problem. That men are
My main
cheating.
problem with the men, my
Mhm.
main problem with black men is they not putting themselves in position. And
Mm.
then I feel as though a woman that's making good money, went to college, everything, just not she didn't have to go to college. She making money for herself.
Mhm.
And I feel as though the men that has money like that, they mess with the women that don't. They want to be controlling them.
That's not
A lot
true.
of men that
A
Right.
lot of them do. That's not that
yeah,
that a lot
listen,
of them
I
do.
even said it. I said I'm gonna start acting needy and maybe I'll get a baller. You know what I'm saying? If I act needy, maybe I get a baller.
But at the end of the
Because
day,
it's like that's what they go after.
because you know why? Because men want humility and they want the nurturer. So sometimes when the woman don't have that much, sometimes she knows how to be more like a woman. And I'm not saying you, because we all could talk about the
No,
2%
I'm
and the
about to say
5% that's
I'm
different.
everything. I'm a
I
nurturer. I'm bringing
right,
my own bread.
right. And then
I'm everything.
and then what Kevin would say to you, Faith, in all due respect, is like, yo, you're this great woman, so why are you not getting somebody, or why is it hard? And then he would probably tell you something like, yo, listen, we're not as
That'd be
smart as
my
y'all. We're not as smart as y'all. So we go by all physical. So you know what? Adjust this, or whatever. That's all he was really saying. He wasn't saying it like, you know what, you're nothing, I'm gonna put you down. He's just like, yo, for where you reaching at, sister, that's a little bit too high
No,
for you.
he
Because
told
those
one
men,
woman. No, I
Mhm.
want to disagree. He had made good views, and you pointing them out, the good things that he done.
Right.
But
Right.
he had ripped people down. It wasn't
Exactly.
called for. He told her one girl. He like, how much you weigh? And I'm not going on the weight thing, but just example of what he said to her, and she was like, I told you I'm fat. He was like, you
Mhm.
know what? Get off my line. These nuts. Like that was so
It
That's
was,
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
yeah.
And I'm
Exactly.
like, what the hell?
Listen, I think that he was entertaining in certain instances. There's certain things
That's
that
I
he
agree with
said.
that. I
Faith,
definitely
Faith,
agree
I
with
think there's
that.
certain things that he said, and I think that's everybody on TV, including our
I
entertainers.
agree
There's
with
certain
you.
instances that they're gonna say things that we don't agree with. We all love Oprah, but we feel like right. So overall, everybody we love, we're gonna have something against him. My thing is, what was his
Yeah.
objective? His objective is to make me and you have a better relationship. His objective is to make us a little bit more. What's wrong, Mello?
Because I don't just feel like the physical makes you have a better relationship.
But that's not what he was saying. You keep on talking about the physical. He was talking about being humble first. Can I talk first? Can you receive me first? Can you say constructive criticism first? That's the problem. That's the problem. Because if I have that, I don't care about you losing weight. We're going to go jogging. We're going to ride the bike. We're going to do whatever. But can I talk to you?
But wait a minute, because earlier in the conversation you said something about, men are very visual, and basically you have to attract these men. You have to.
Beginning of time. It hasn't started with me. It's been like that.
Oh God. Okay.
It has.
So what happens once this woman fixes whatever physical issues she has, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she still doesn't have a brain. She still can't hold a conversation.
Who's talking about her? I don't even know her.
Okay, there's plenty.
There's plenty
of hers. There are plenty of hers out there.
But he's not wifing her. He may have a little fun with her, but men of high value don't even want people like that around them because they're a threat to their finances. They're a threat to their finances. If somebody's coming around that's a dodo brain. That's a threat to his whole entire. He can't bring that around his clique.
They marry him.
That's not. They marry. Thank you. Hello. There are plenty of men. There are plenty of wealthy men that basically just want arm candy.
Where are
they? Don't want you to give them any
person. That's a lie. Tell me a person.
That is not a lie.
Man. Listen,
that is not a lie.
Point them out.
That is not a lie. There are plenty of entertainers. There are plenty of entertainers, plenty of athletes, plenty of businessmen that basically say, I don't want your opinion. I don't want you to give me advice. I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to sit there and be pretty and shut the fuck up.
Who? That's an imaginary person you're talking about.
No, that is not an imaginary person.
Talking about then. Give me one example. Don't know this. I don't know him. I don't know Plenty. I don't know Mr. Plenty.
Look at Donald Trump and Melania.
She said Donald Trump.
Look at Donald Trump and Melania.
Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Donald Trump and Melania. Melania could be anywhere in the world. Melania is a pretty model overseas woman, and she deals with Donald. Not because she don't have a choice. He has money. Let me talk. That's why she's dealing with him for his money. He gonna have money regardless. There's a bunch of Melanias. That's what you don't get. She's choosing that.
Telling you.
No, but I'm saying, but she's saying it opposite. No, exactly what? What are you saying? What are you telling me?
So that's basically what he's looking for, and there are plenty of men out there that's what they're looking for. They don't want you to have an opinion.
That's not true. First of all, Melania had her opinion. She walked around with sign on her back, her jacket. She was saying whatever. She was dissing him up and down. She was pushing his hand off of him when he was walking in the plane. So no, that's a wrong example. And she knows he has girls. So that's a wrong example. Everybody I show you that's on a high caliber is dealing with a woman that can hold it down because nobody wants to lose what they have. So unless you don't know men on a high caliber, you cannot give me an example of one man that's dealing with a woman that's a double brain.
Every man should want a woman that has his back, and stick with him through thick and thin. But don't use your money as a way I could do whatever I want because I have.
Faith, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. That's not what I'm about. I'm not about that.
I just want to say that it's interesting that we're even using a criteria where the man is the higher earner, and in some instances, it's vice versa, where the woman's the higher earner. You got women that use their status to manipulate their man or emasculate their man. So I think that I don't want us to lose perspective on
once y'all get money, how y'all act.
Like
money, how do you act?
I think we all need to get back to our rules.
I think that we lose perspective on like him, love him, hate him, unapologetically himself, because based upon the numbers, Kevin Samuels was doing an effective job.
Because you know what he did, honestly, like he did give good advice. Like, okay, with the big guy, I was okay with what he was saying until he asked about his penis, because he made that young man check himself. You making $400 every 2 weeks. You shouldn't even be looking for a woman right now. Get your stuff together. But I agree with him.
Faith, let me ask you, and I didn't, the big guy actually said something about Kevin recently. But as men, I think that you guys are using the big guy as him talking to a man that way. Men talk to each other, some men talk to each other straight like that.
Just like that.
And he, in my perception of the way that man told him, that was, dude, you need to get your stuff together.
Get it together
before you even
I agree with
think
that
about
part.
that.
And I agree with that as well.
No. This is, and please,
Mhm.
ladies, don't agree with me on this. And the reason why is because y'all agree with that. But y'all should have. Why can't y'all agree with him talking to a woman like
Exactly.
No. I agree with him telling a woman to get her shit together. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's what I agree
saying
with. Him
that
telling her
he
to get his
shouldn't
stuff
say
together.
for her a woman to get her stuff together. My thing is when you start insulting someone, you don't have to insult someone to get your point
Sometimes you
across.
have to insult somebody to get their attention.
No, you don't. No, you
Sometimes
don't.
you do.
Let me just say,
sometimes you do.
Melodic, for
The
a
truth is
man,
the truth.
for a man, and you young ladies are full women who got men in y'all lives, who deal with men every day. For a man to attack another man's manhood is the worst thing that you could do. So Kevin Samuels insulted that
That's
young
how I
man,
felt.
or said what he said to that young man worse than he could ever say to a woman.
The effect
So
were much-
degraded him.
if no, he did not degrade him. He made him look. He gave him that bitter melon.
He gave
that
him what the
hard pill
other
to swallow.
females are saying
but what was
behind
his
his
purpose
back.
to say, well, my
Yeah.
dick big?
Because
Like, what did he have to do? If he tried, listen,
Faith, the
if
reality,
he's trying to
look,
build him
Faith,
up,
Faith, the reality is, right, is that when that young man approaches a young lady, you don't want no scrub. You don't want the dude in the passenger side.
Right.
You want the driver. You don't have a job. Oh, you work at a warehouse. Oh, you a laborer.
Right.
Some
No,
women,
no.
not listen. Don't get offended.
Right.
Some women,
And let's not talk about the 2%
will literally,
or 5%
will
of them
literally
don't.
laugh at, if they don't know how much money it is, the plumber,
Right.
the electrician,
some
the
women,
garbage man.
some women.
Most
No,
women.
not most women. Not
Okay.
most women.
Okay.
Because
I'll take that. I'll take that.
not all women. Some women, yes. That's first and foremost. I don't have a problem with someone who's a laborer as long as you're working and you're bringing home, you're bringing home money where you won't be a burden on me. Now, I had a conversation with somebody who said if I made $25,000, you wouldn't want to be with me. No, you're absolutely right. No, let me finish. You're absolutely right. If you made $25,000, no, I wouldn't want to be with you because wait a minute, because there's a certain type of lifestyle that I live, and my thing is you have to be able to contribute. I feel like we should all be assets to each other.
You said the key word that majority of women, they may not say it specifically, but when they say it, and they may say it generally, they say when they talking about other men or they talking about the dude they know, whatever, the first thing that majority of women say, and they could be just saying it, I don't want nobody to be a burden on me.
That's the truth.
With all due respect,
okay.
How can
now let me give you back? Let me give you a verse of that.
Millen.
How can what? Please get your question out. How can what?
I want to ask this question. I want to ask this question.
Go ahead.
If a man says that to a woman,
because I was about to reverse it, Q. So now let me reverse that. Since you don't want a man to be a burden on you, I don't want what you're bringing to the table. I don't want another man's. You know what I'm saying? I don't want whatever he was saying is a what he said. 35-year-olds women with children are married are leftovers, right? So he's saying that based on what you want. So why should I have to deal with the kids that you bring? Hold on. Why should I have to deal with the kids that you bring into the relationship?
You shouldn't. You can choose whoever you want to choose.
All your other stuff.
Right.
So therefore, you stay in check also. You stay in check also because that guy that's making the $25,000 could be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Wait a minute.
And that's when you bumped your head.
No, how did I bump my head? How did I bump my head?
Because you have a standard to be upkept and a
no.
I don't. We right here.
First of all, no, my mic is right here. But no.
That's terrible.
Well, Faith is about to take up for you. Go ahead.
my thing is no. Making $25,000. How can you live off of that? How can one person live off of that?
Listen.
To me, wait a minute. To me, that's you coming out of I don't even think I made $25,000 coming out of college.
So you say money matters. You're putting a price on it already.
No.
$10,000.
That standard that you have. You are totally right to have that for yourself, and
that's a preference.
If I was friend, brother, best friend, I would tell you specifically, I love that you have that standard. You'd have every right to have that standard.
However,
the issue comes in is that counterpart, that male that has that same standard. How his delivery, or how he'd be like, look, you know, with all due respect for anybody that got a job in these times is hard. So I am not myself. I am not going to minimize anybody trying to make no money.
I'm not minimizing anyone making
basically,
money.
No, I'm not saying
but
you
everybody
are.
No, I'm not, because everybody has preferences. I'm sure you don't want a woman that.
I don't know what I want.
Wait a minute.
Can I ask the men a question?
I'm not saying melodic. I'm not saying that you have, but let me finish making my point, Faith, real quick. Is my thing is just like Kevin Samuels, and I can mirror what Kevin Samuels said, and he said it on the Joe Budden show. Why can women have standards but men can't?
I think men can have standards.
Right. So
there's nothing wrong with a man.
So he asks them their dress size. He asks them how tall they are. He asks them where they rate themselves. And most of the time, when he gives his own, when he's what's he saying?
She might come out swinging. Anthony.
She does. She does prove my point with the money thing. And he threw me off. Anthony, big ups to you. But what was I saying, Q? Do you remember?
About the standards.
Yeah. So when you create those standards, Mello, I'm sorry, for yourself, like you have to also remember that somebody else is looking at you and has a preference.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're also talking about your unique view. Now, the majority of women, as you see, based on in songs, based on the media, everybody's looking for that top guy, right? So if you have a standard for yourself based on what you've done for yourself, you've worked, you've done, and you're like, $25,000 is too low. You could be bringing me flowers, making my bath, giving me respect, speaking to me the best way that Kevin Samuels will never speak to me. Because you're making 25 G's, I'm not giving you a chance. So therefore, he has the right to call you leftovers, fat, and whatever else he feels that is not in his realm.
Okay.
Why? Because you're disgracing him. He's feeding his kids with that 25,000. Hold on. You don't know what that man is doing in terms of character to get that 25,000. And that's your problem, because that same man is, hold on, because I made less than $30,000 coming out of college as a teacher. Right. And I can say that now because, it's not that anymore. Right. And I still teach, but at the same time, I was still the same person. All right. And the woman I was with was still holding me down. And you know what? With that 30,000, I had a crib and she didn't work and we had 2 kids. So what are you talking about?
I'm not.
And I could probably still do that today with $30,000.
I'm not wrong for having a preference. I'm not wrong for having a preference.
You are not, and neither am I.
No, you're not.
I'm not trying to downgrade. Why should I downgrade? Like Anthony said, why should I downgrade?
You shouldn't. You should get whatever you want.
Exactly. So that's what he was saying. You're gonna get whatever we want. We're not gonna get chubby, and we're not gonna get burdened with people with kids, and we're not gonna get that. So therefore, take the title that he gave you. You can say that he's not. If you can say that 25,000 is not good enough for you, you have to take leftovers. If you can say that 25,000 is not, you have to take basic to average, because that's his opinion of what he wants.
I'm the opposite of her. You don't have to have a big bank account to be with me.
No, I didn't say you had to have. Well, I want to correct you. I didn't say you had to have a big bank account.
No, you said if they make 25,000, that's not enough.
I'm saying if you make 20.
Everybody's standard.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I make my own money. So anybody bring us, I want a man to have ambition, because I feel that we could do it together.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody I surround myself with, I'm going to uplift them, upgrade them. We're going to do this together, and I hope he do the same for me.
Right.
I wouldn't, bypass him because what he got right now. If I'm into that man and like everything else about him, you know what I'm saying? It's not about that. But do I want somebody that's not doing anything? And I want a partner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what he got right now wouldn't matter if he got potential for us to grow together. No. But
let me just say this. So you said if he has potential to grow together. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Men choose you where you are right here, right now. They don't look at potential. They look at what you have to offer.
Yeah, that's the difference between us and men. We're not the same.
So what's wrong with us us being
Because
the
you're
same
not a
way.
man. You're not a
No,
man.
no,
That's
I'm
what's
not a
wrong.
man.
You're not a
I
man.
don't
So
Okay.
think
stop
that's
doing what
Okay.
wrong.
men
You
do
having
and
your
think you're going to get the
Okay.
same
wait.
results.
All right,
Stop
bring it
doing
back.
what
I don't
men
think
do
that she's
and think
wrong
you're
for
going to get the
having
same
certain
results,
Bring it
Mello.
back.
That's
Bring
you
it
should
back.
answer your own question.
Bring it back, you
Cannot
guys.
do what men do and expect to get the same
One.
results. There's so many things that women could do that we don't want
I
to
don't
do.
think that
I
I
want
can
to
do what
protect
men
you.
do.
I
I
want to
don't think
exalt you. I want to support you in all your things. But why are you trying to be me? This is
I'm
not a
not. No,
sport
no,
talk.
no, 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 no. I'm not trying to be a man. I don't have a
So
problem with
why
letting a
you
man
just
being a man and
asked?
me being a
You
woman.
just
But
asked. Why
no,
can't you do
no.
it?
In certain instances, yes, there are certain criteria, and it's
Like
like I
what?
said, there's nothing. What?
Like
Like
what?
not making $25,000. My thing is, I'm sorry.
You probably missing out on your
Unfortunately,
husband. You
okay.
could be
Well, you
missing
know,
out on
But she have a
anybody.
right. She have a right to
exactly.
Let me.
choose
And
it.
I could be missing out on my
She
wife
has
if
a
I
right
feel
to
like
for her
listen.
own
I know, but
preference.
so why doesn't Kevin?
Let me ask that
No,
question.
Kevin
Let
can
me.
No,
too.
no.
I just
Kevin
didn't like
can
the way he
say
talked
whatever
to
he wants
people.
to say. I don't have a problem. I don't think that people should be censored. I don't think that people should be censored. But just because I don't have a problem with censorship, it doesn't mean that I don't feel like people should be a little empathetic.
I think you're right with
Okay,
that. I don't agree
look
with
at
the
Kevin.
insults.
You know, God bless the dead. God bless the dead. But Kevin died, older man, single. But he told
Absolutely.
everybody that would happen to them.
But listen, you got to.
So
Well, all right. So let me correct you there, Faith. He died by choice, single, because men have a choice to be single. Women choose who they
no,
sleep
he
with.
didn't find
Men,
her.
can I
He didn't
finish?
find
Can I
her.
finish? No,
He didn't fall in love. He didn't find her. It
no.
wasn't a choice.
Okay.
No man want to be lonely.
No, I get that what you're saying, but he didn't seem lonely. He was with somebody. But what I'm saying is this though. Men choose the relationships that they want to be in. Women kind of choose who they sleep with and then present themselves to the men that they want to ask them to marry them. Women don't propose to men. That's the new 22
But we have
foolishness
the
that's
last say
happening.
so. We say yes or no.
I think that
We have the last say so.
You have the last say so in terms of
You
what?
can
In terms of
propose to me.
Yes,
sex?
I got
accept
In
proposed to
terms
a
of
that.
thousand
sex?
times.
In
She
terms
has
of
to accept
sex?
that proposal. She has
listen,
to
you
accept
guys.
that proposal,
Yeah,
correct?
I had
think
many
that-
proposals. It's
I
up to
think
the
that-
woman to accept.
I think that we're going into areas that may be another topic for definitely another show. I think that everybody on the panel cares about relationships and understands that the black family,
I'm sorry, I'm so dark in here.
the black family to us, I believe, is paramount to our struggle.
I agree.
Definitely.
So I have a video that I'm going to show. And we've been assuming, we've been guessing. And as they say, he spoke from the dead, from the ground.
I need to really say this. I take no particular pride or pleasure in doing shows like this because I know it triggers certain black women. I know they do. I know some of them get pissed. I've heard women on YouTube saying things that they don't watch the show end to end. And I'm not going to, and that's not going to change anything because there are far more women and far women who are listening. And who are the recipients? The women who listen end to end and are saying, well, you've changed my life. You've helped me look at this way or that way. Those women are benefiting. And guarantee when those women come into contact with men doing something, they all benefit. We're better off working with each other, trying to understand one another. You know, none of us are perfect. Certainly not me. I ain't shit. I got a lot of problems. It's like anybody else. We all got issues. But just like Ice Cube, when the brother steps up to do something, support. Find ways to support. Even if you have an issue with something it's doing, can you find 4 or 5 things about it that you like before you start off with the one thing you don't like? Because you cannot keep painting black men in this ain't shit box. They don't all fit there. And brothers are starting to push back and say, no, 51% of us are single and childless and 64% in the middle class. They're here. Can you interact with them just in a peaceful, civil way? If you never get married and never have kids, can you have a higher quality of life? Can you just be happy? Can you stop walking through life with your hands up ready to fight the reflection of you, the opposite sex reflection of you? I don't walk through life looking at black women as though they're my enemy. And I would hope that for the black women who this applies, you stop walking through life assuming that black men are somebody to challenge, somebody to overcome, to struggle against. We don't need that.
Okay, I don't see anything wrong with what he just said.
But you
Me
spoke about
either.
none of that.
I'm sorry.
And I feel like that's what I've been kind of saying because I never
Mhm.
saw that video before
I
ever. Thank
did.
you, Q. That's fine. I never did. And the things that I'm saying are reflecting that. And that's what's his main objective. So I feel like we kind of got sidetracked into a few different subdivisions of the main topic. And the main topic is that he wanted us to be together. But if we get caught up on somebody calling you fat, then listen, the people that you love are going to hurt you the most in life. So if you can't get over certain things, right, you're going to be stuck in some place. And you've had to forgive people for worse than calling you fat, right? I've had to. Everybody on this panel had to.
Ugly.
So I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody's giving you truth and it has emotion behind it, which, you know, my beautiful Black queens, you guys speak with a lot of emotion all the time. Please be the recipient of the same type of delivery that you give sometimes. Or maybe you could just hear yourself and be a little bit more sensitive to how you approach something or be entertained when somebody is
Okay.
speaking like that. Because at the end of the day, we hear it, we feel it. And remember, we're very ego based. You know, us men, we have to protect you. As a matter of fact, if I have a problem with you, Mello, and we walking down the street and I'm getting kind of extra with you, it's the right of Q, who doesn't know me or you, to step in to protect you. So he deserves your respect. He deserves your respect, even if you don't know him, because he
I
will
agree.
protect you as his
I
sister. All
agree.
right. So therefore, he also has an opinion of how he wants you to be because he's a person. And he also has this $25,000 standard, where it may be in your stomach or it may be with what you're bringing to the table.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with
All
that.
right. So the way he says it is not as important as what the hell he's saying. And that's my point to you. I don't care how he says it to you, Mello. We have to get over ourselves and be like, yo, this man is telling the truth. And you know what? I'm in a situation that he could help me. He's telling me truth. But I'm so stuck on him talking about my eyelashes that I can't see the whole point. And woman, you are guilty of what you're accusing. You're guilty of it. You guys are much worse than men when it comes down to downgrading men. And you guys could take it more than us a little bit because we have our ego, our men stuff. But I do want to hear from y'all. Like, I just feel like we're missing the point.
I don't think that we're missing the point per se. Like I said, I agreed with the video. I thought that was a very positive video, and I told you that I didn't disagree with everything that he said. I had a problem with his delivery sometimes, and sometimes I said that sometimes people can miss the message.
Right.
Excuse me, because of the delivery. That was my issue. Excuse me, with Kevin Samuels, and it was whether he was talking to a male or a female. I'm just saying in general. Like you said, I feel that everyone deserves respect.
Let me ask you a question, Mello. Do you prefer a straight shooter or a bullshitter?
Oh, a straight shooter all the way.
Okay. Do you think that straight shooter is always going to be in bounds? Sometimes they're going to be a little out of bounds because that comes with straight shooters.
No,
right?
but
That
I
comes
feel
with
like
okay.
I
It
feel
comes with the
like
turf.
I don't have a problem with constructive criticism. I have a problem with constructive criticism that's laced with insults. That's what I have a problem with.
Melodic, let me I don't want you to think I'm attacking you. It's no such thing as constructive criticism that you control what's being said.
No. Well, first of all, you can't control anybody.
No, constructive criticism is supposed to stir you, cause emotion. So, and I don't want you to think that I'm personally attacking you because I'm not.
Oh, I don't think I don't care.
One of the biggest issues that and Anthony, to answer your question, why I didn't play the video in the beginning is because I do believe that sometimes the messenger, how the delivery destroys the message. So I have a method in what I choose to play, and when I choose to play it, it's interesting. When we do look at Kevin Samuels, Steve Harvey basically does the same thing. And you know what I hear from some women about Steve Harvey? Oh, he's a cheater. He's been married. This, that, that. Instead of sometimes just listening to the advice, I think that it speaks to certain ills in our community about this particular topic about our women. Our women don't black women, and this is just my personal opinion. Black women don't want nobody telling them nothing but black women. They do not want no black man publicly ever saying something. Privately, every black woman wants a man that has testicular fortitude, that's strong, and that's going to handle them.
Yeah.
At home, their man, but publicly,
and I feel like
they don't
No, I
want
don't
to
agree with
appear
and a
that
to.
because
Q,
They don't.
I feel like
respect
I feel like a
any
real man
man.
does that. I feel like a real man does that in the public, that he's not going to make his woman feel a little bit uncomfortable or whatever. But at the same time, a check is a check, and the women that are successful in marriage listen to Kevin Samuels. The women that want to be successful in marriage listen to Kevin Samuels. You know why? Because their man's opinion counts, and they know they cannot do it without him. And the one thing that I think some black women are getting, and too many black women are digesting, is that they could do it without a man. They could find success in life without having someone to love, and their mirror reflection of the opposite
And
sex.
I
And
agree
it's
with
not
that.
true. And women of different races they have different standards, and they're putting their man first. They're putting their family first. They're doing all those things to make themselves accessible to a man and likable to a man. And I understand our black women have different pressures than other women. I get that. And the black women have raised sons by themselves and they've been absent, like Faith said earlier, in the house. But when do we stop pointing the finger and making some accountable decisions, like Q said, with ourselves? Nobody has talked about what they could do differently or what they have done that they feel like has pushed a black man away. Everybody's okay. Everybody's okay with what y'all been bringing to the table.
No. The thing is, Milton, I think that when I do speak about accountability, I speak from a personal level and I speak as a general level overall. I think that unfortunately, with Kevin Samuels' message, that has gotten marred in his deliveries. I think people were so upset with his delivery that one of the biggest issues is that we do lack self-accountability.
Definitely.
I do think that's the biggest issue, definitely when it comes to choosing who you decide to be with. I mean, like Melodic said to me, nobody's perfect. Yet, absolutely none of us are perfect. However, when you have the standard, when you have a criteria of what you want,
Yes.
you pick and choose who you want to be with. Now, you know that individual, I hope that you understand that individual got some flaws with it.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
unfortunately, what happens is that a lot of women in particular have put their careers on the hold for their men, or vice versa. Men have put careers on it, and it's like it didn't turn out the way you want to. So now what happens is we become angry and bitter. So much to the point where we don't realize, like, yeah, you settled for something that you thought would have potential or whatever, men and women, and now it didn't turn out the way you wanted to turn out. And instead of looking at it from a bitter standpoint, look at it like, you know what? At the end of the day, you settled. You got to be accountable. You have to take ownership. Like you have a certain criteria. This guy does not make this amount of money that where you feel as though that he could take care of you, but he checks all the other boxes and other things. Deep down inside, you said to yourself, I'm not going to find the perfect guy. So, but this guy who doesn't fit the financial criteria treats you nice. He goes out of his way because you could not make him much financial where you could be a person that knows the value of money and what to spend money on. So he treats you according to his wallet, so to say.
That's it.
My biggest issue with all of it, and from a general standpoint, is just be accountable.
I'm absolutely accountable. That you said something about women being bitter. I think men can be bitter sometimes also, but
Absolutely.
my thing is,
But dealing with
yes,
Kevin Samuels,
everyone,
and the reason why this show is even going on is because the triggering aspect.
Yeah.
He wasn't triggering nobody.
Nothing by saying it nice.
He was saying this to men.
When
saying it to men.
Right.
I know because when he was saying certain things to men, that was triggering. Also, it was not.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
No, ladies, he went viral.
Right.
From the young lady saying,
yes,
she make almost $100,000 a year. She said she was a 5. She said how much she weighed. She said her waist. And you know what he said? You're average.
But can I just say that our
because
people like
the bottom line is right, and I don't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna let you finish in 1 second. The bottom line is when people are picking and choosing who they want to be, what makes you, not you, Melodic, what makes you stand out where another person is going to choose to be with you?
Well, first of all, another person
She was
doesn't have
average.
to choose to be with that other person. Everyone has their preferences. I'm sorry. It's who you want to deal with, who you want to be with, whether you're male or female. That's subjective. It could be something different for every person. You understand what I'm saying? So that
But
you
it's
said,
something.
did you say
It's
no?
no, it's
It
something.
feels like a diversion, Mello. It feels like a diversion. You know what I'm scared
How?
of? You know what I'm scared of? If not good enough for me, right? If not good enough for
Mhm.
me or Q, two grown men, right, who've lived years, right, almost half their life or whatever, and we're telling you what you need to do to make us happier, right?
Mhm.
And you're rejecting it. If you have to do that, you know what? So let's talk about
I'm
female. So
rejecting it.
hold on, let me just
No.
finish my saying,
Okay. Go
because
ahead.
everything you bring back to Mellow, and you're trying to act like you're the one exception between all
Okay.
the women in the world.
Okay.
So let me just say,
Okay.
I'm scared for women raising their sons,
Mhm.
because you know what? These sons are gonna grow up to be me, and they're gonna grow up to be Q, and they're gonna have similar views,
Mhm.
right? So if you don't start tapping in to the needs and concerns of somebody else besides yourself, you're gonna actually hurt yourself more than you have. And that's my message to women overall. If not for the men that's telling you, do it for your son, do it for your brother, do it for somebody else that you care, that you feel like may deserve to be heard. All right, because that same son and brother, they're gonna hurt you sometimes. They're gonna say things about you. I got a sister, I'm tough on her, but I love her. But I tell her everything a guy is thinking. She ain't gotta think, right? She ain't gotta think if she
And
make.
there's nothing wrong with
And no,
that.
but what he's doing is talking to you as a brother. That's what he was doing. Kevin Samuels is your brother talking to you, telling you like, "Yo, go lose some weight." And you know what? Be more realistic with your options. And you know what? Humble yourself. That I could talk to you and give you some constructive criticism without your neck rolling and the whole. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he was saying because
And
that
what's wrong with
turns.
that?
What's wrong with what?
What's wrong with that?
No, the what's wrong with it is that you don't bring it up. Only thing you're talking about is his insults and that you can't get the message.
No, that's
So
not
when you
true.
miss the
Mhm.
message, you go right back to where you started.
I
But
said
Milk,
that
that's the problem. Milk,
he made some
Milk,
points that I agreed with. I didn't. I
exactly.
admit
You don't
that.
talk in them, Mellow.
Okay,
I
listen. How
huh?
I feel, like what I was saying, Kevin, he had made good points. He and everything like that. Like we said, it's just his delivery. You asked us
Exactly.
why the women, like you said, there's a lot of women that's okay with the way he talked to other women, and they look at
No,
the
no,
big
no.
picture.
Majority,
I also
majority.
looked at the
Let's say
big
the
picture
majority.
and took in what he said that was positive.
Faith,
But him as a person, the way I'm not like I'm a very sweet, loving person. So a person of his personality, just that part of his personality,
will turn you off.
yes, I wouldn't want to be friends with nobody that's like
Do you
that.
understand why he is like that though?
No,
Because
I
at the end of the
understand and I
day,
respect it.
because
First of all,
women have talked to him like that for decades. Do you understand what I'm saying?
well,
Women
that's
don't
on
have
him
no
accepting
problem.
that.
No, hold on. Women don't have no problem being insulting to men publicly in songs, on the
All women
radio.
not like
And,
that
and I'm
though.
not
No,
saying all women. We're not talking about. We're talking about 80% of the women.
You.
All right, so all women are not like that, but black women are initiating most of the divorces. Black women are the ones that's not married. Black women are the one that's raising kids by themselves. Black women is the ones that's struggling. So that's who he's trying to help. So keep on saying it's not me, but what's going on? Everybody's in the same category and they're trying to act like it's not
no,
me.
I agree with like okay, a friend of mine's, well, she's not a friend, is associate,
Mhm.
and she not working, but she said she don't want to be with a man that got a job. He got to have his own business. So I kind of like feel like you can't be asking for something that you can't bring. I agree with that. That's
Right,
for male or female. You know what
right,
I'm saying? Like, how
right,
could you not want a working person? You don't even have a job. You don't have your own business.
right. That's like a
How could
man.
you, want somebody to be in this position and you're not in position?
And Faith, you know what? Something else that he made. He feels like men stay in their lane. They know because men get rejected all the time. It's a part of our fiber to get rejected. No, you know what I'm saying. So they stay in their lane. They know where to reach to. women want to reach all the way up here and they're not bringing what they need to bring to the table, and that's who he was addressing.
Yeah, but what about the women that bring the whole table? It's women that they was successful that came on his show. Now, one woman, she was very attractive. Her hair was natural. She had no makeup on.
I love
and
her.
he got on her for not having no kids and not being married and saying
I know
something must
that
be
one.
wrong with her. And I'm like, you can't win for losing with this guy.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
The honest opinion though is that in that instance, Kevin basically said what a man will say. Because if a woman comes and she's 40 and she got all that put together, a man is gonna say, "Yo, Milt, I met this fine lady, but yo, she ain't got no kids. She ain't never been married. Something ain't right."
Something ain't right.
That's what men say.
I had a standard when I was a kid. Like, I ain't dating no girls with no kids. Now it's hard for me to date a female without kids because you have to be relatable. You know what I mean? And at this age and stage that we're at right now, being divorced is not that taboo. As a matter of fact, if you've never been married at this age, it's kind of like, you know, what's going on with you. So certain things are acceptable at certain ages and stages in life. And you know, people just have to be appropriate. Yeah. And I feel like, Mello, I think that the money part of it is like you could be dealing with a millionaire and you don't know because he's making 25,000 at that time. And the universe put him in your life at that point so you can snatch him before he goes there. So the character of the person is really gonna make you happy.
Oh, the character of the person absolutely matters.
Yeah, so don't
That's
shut
the
it
main
down
thing
for
for me.
25. Because that 25 maybe because it could be because the person that's making 250 with the other zero behind it. It's going to be a lot more tougher for you to scratch the bag.
So let me
wait. So I'm going to say this. There have been instances. Let me see. They think she is too good to be. Okay. So my thing is there have been instances where. So I personally have a problem with people that well when it comes to dating with people that are complacent, and I think a lot of women, especially women, career women who are middle class, do have an issue with that. Where you don't want anything else. Like this is your life and you're totally fine with living this life. And if you're fine with living that life, that's fine for you. But when it comes into you moving into a relationship with someone else, they may want more out of life. And they're not wrong for wanting more out of life.
No, I'm
There's
not saying that
nothing
they're
wrong with
wrong,
that.
but once you see the thing about it is the absence of money brings truth, Mello. So sometimes when you get in somebody that get mad, you don't even know who they are till they lose all of it. You've seen it before. You see how people act different because the world treats you different when you got the money. So you got to act a little bit different. And the people that are humble enough, they try to keep themselves as grounded as possible. But when you're making a decision based off of a dollar amount, right?
I'm not making a decision.
I have to hold you to that,
Mello.
I have to hold you to that, Mello.
Whatever.
Yes,
I'm not making a decision based off of a
if he
dollar
was making
amount.
27,000, he would have been in the house. Y'all have been cooking. You know what I'm saying? He's making 2,000 more. 25,000 was the cutoff.
he need to make some more overtime. He need,
just a
he
little,
need to get some more hours.
2 more nights a week, he'd have been straight, Q.
It's gonna be all right. But honestly, you guys, even though a person watching or even us, we may say that we went off track a little bit, but I think that even going off track brings context of what men and women, how we all view things and what we view. And the biggest part of this particular show, and the whole mission behind Conversation with Friends is a concern for the culture, a concern for family, a concern for relationships between men and women, and being able to conversate and to disagree and get feisty. As y'all see, Faith and Milton a little feisty about 20 minutes ago, but
it's all love, Faith.
It's all love.
It's done with the premise of, yo, you ain't listening to me. I'm talking. I'm listening. I'm talking over you. And sometimes two people are saying the same thing, but they're both saying it a different way.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we're gonna close this puppy up because I know that it's kind of late, and I know that the show been long, and I know that one of the things, people's attention spans don't be around that long. So I appreciate you guys in the chat. Any final thoughts, Milton? We'll go with you first.
I feel like just overall, I like that you left the video to the end, Q, because it kind of put everything into context. I never saw it before, but everybody was kind of touching on those same things that he knew people were going to touch on. So if somebody kind of predicts that they're going to be offensive to you and they're telling you, like, listen, this may sound like this, then it's time for you to give that person that attention because they don't want something negative for you. So overall, I want to see better relationships for
Let
our
me,
people. I want to say,
Milton, let
yes.
me just, before you finish, make sure that I'm asking you, as well as what you're saying now, your opinion about this man's legacy. That's the question we're all going to answer.
Okay, cool. To make sure to keep me on point here. But yeah, I just feel like family is super, super important. And right now we're in a dire situation because our kids are getting the brunt of the bull or the burden when these relationships are not working. You know, the black boys are suffering, black females are suffering, and we're repeating the same thing. In terms of Kevin Samuel's legacy, I think that he did much more good than bad. And I don't think that there's anybody on this earth that comes to does a lot of good. And we having a whole podcast about him, and we're probably one of hundreds having one tonight. That means he did something good. And you're gonna offend people when you do good. All right. If you're religious, you know that, right? We all know the examples of people who come and bring truth. All right. They're crucified. All right. So overall, I think that he did a great thing. I think he's opened up the conversation. I think that he's made people a little bit more accountable, like Q said. And I think accountability, when we all look at ourselves, right, instead of looking at the other person and what they're doing wrong, look at ourselves and see how we could improve on that. Because he's made me improve on some ways as well. I think that's better off for everybody, for the whole entire community, especially our kids. And I think that, you know, as with our community, we need to be proactive. We can't just let things happen. We need to start making some definite change, you know, and stop playing into this insanity scenario and doing the same thing, expecting something different to happen.
Faith dropped for a second. Melodic. Oh, Faith.
You on mute.
You're on mute, Faith.
That's how I came in the lighter room.
Yeah. Final thoughts and your opinion about his legacy?
To me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know, I wrote a poem. But my final thoughts is basically, like I said, I'm a fair person, and just because I didn't like his delivery, he did make a lot of sense in certain areas that was positive and helpful to people. But like I said, I didn't really care for the way he his delivery, and I'm just like that, you know. So I feel as though those that talk about him in a bad light, I think that's wrong. The man is dead. You're supposed to respect the dead. And you shouldn't have them strong feelings towards someone that you never met before.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, people called up, even the ones he disrespected, in my opinion, and I feel like he broke them down or whatever. They called this man for his opinion, and he gave it to him how he did, and that was a choice of theirs. So, you know, may his soul rest in peace. And us as a black race, we need to come together, and men and women, to me, get back to where we belong. You know, we kings and queens. We're not whores and thugs. We're not niggas. We're not bums.
That's right.
You know, we to me, we gotta just get back in our place. We're royalty.
Definitely.
You wrote a
That's
poem.
how I feel.
You can read your poem. I
Oh, okay. I
actually read it already.
Okay. Now, I don't want nobody
Yeah.
to. Yeah. Now, I wrote this poem, and it's coming from him. I write poetry, and sometimes, you know, I write poems for families who had, you know, family members that's deceased, and sometimes it comes from the dead, or it'll be from the family member to that person. And I chose to write from Kevin, in his words. Okay. Oh Lord, because I don't cuss like this, so this is just a poem, guys.
Well, it's Kevin's words.
Kevin words, exactly. Exactly. Okay. If I was still there, I would eat your asses up. Y'all know I didn't have patience for this kind of stuff. Yes, I was rude and blunt as hell, but I kept it real, saying things others felt. I told people the truth, something a lot of folks won't do. I know I came off harsh and a bit mean, but y'all talking like y'all backyard is squeaky clean. I'm going now, and I could care less. Fuck your opinion. My family's still blessed. I
Hey.
passed away like the king that I am. Bank account full and some pussy in my hand. I understand one could hate my delivery, but to hate on the dead shows pure misery. In reality, if I ever chewed you up, you're to blame yourself. Y'all called a stranger asking me for help. Then get mad because your feelings get hurt. But that's kind of how the truth sometimes works. I died living my best life. Got rich off of getting people like you right. Going and I'm still trending. Even in death, I'm still winning. So continue to comment, text, and tweet. But make sure you tag me. Rest in peace. By Faith Brown.
Amen. 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 Okay.
See,
That
I'm
was cool.
fair, Milt. I'm
But you know what,
fair.
Faith? No, you tricked us. You was on our side the whole time.
No, I'm just fair. Just because I didn't like something about him don't mean I hate the man.
You
Like,
love him. You love that
yeah,
man.
no,
Yeah.
I love all black. Yeah, I love us all. I
I
do.
love it. I
And I
love it.
respect, you feel me? And I feel
Yes.
like I should be able to have an opinion without, oh, he's a monster or I hate
Right.
him and good for him, you know?
Right. Right. That's dope. That's
Yup,
dope.
Nicole, you see me in the porch, you going to Tuesday.
Um,
It's a little potty mouth, y'all. It just, you know, I just
Melodic,
feel that's how he would just,
I
you
ace
know,
think
up.
that
it's funny, and I'm gonna give y'all a
I like the
tidbit.
misery part.
Melodic
Yeah,
may
you don't do that to the
Mel-
dead.
Melodic may go off on me, right? But I did something
No.
with the title that was a little messed up, and Melodic was like, she hit me. Yeah, she gonna be like, yeah, here you go again. Look at it. Look at the face. I'm gonna just let it go. I ain't even gonna
No,
bring it up.
no, no. Please, I don't believe in censorship. Speak your piece. Say what you gotta
No,
say.
no, that's cool.
That's a trick. That's a trick
Melodic,
statement, Q.
do you have any
Good
final
choice, Q.
statements on
Good
Kevin
choice, Q.
Samuels?
Oh God, you know what? So my final statement is no, I don't think that you should ever speak ill about the dead. I don't, but I also feel like you can't change someone's legacy. And let's be very honest that, in a lot of instances, he definitely said a lot of things that were very jarring. Um, to people, men or females, males or females. So I do, like I said, I do agree with a lot of the things that he said as far as his constructive criticism. Like I said, minus the insults, that's just a preference. I think as human beings, we all have preferences and all different just facets of life, how we want to receive things. People take things in differently. I can have a conversation with either one of you, and each one of you can take my conversation differently. I think people perceive things how they want to perceive them. um, I'm definitely an advocate for the Black family. um, but I feel like as individuals, whether we're males or females, we all have a choice in how we would like to live our lives. And I think that we're entitled to it. And I think that a lot of people called into his show for advice. I think that for the people that it helped, I think that that's amazing, and I think it's wonderful. But everyone was not necessarily raised the same, and some people, um, sometimes you don't know. Somebody can be at their breaking point, and my thing is just to be kind to everyone. Someone could have called there and it could have been, they could have been like, wanting to commit suicide or something like that because their life just didn't turn out how they wanted to turn out. So my thing is, I'm all for giving someone constructive criticism, but be, I feel like you should inject empathy in your constructive criticism, no matter who you're talking to. So that's what I'd like to say in closing.
I agree.
Kevin Samuels. I think this topic, was necessary, and one of the things that I want to commend my co-host on is wanting to talk about it now, because I think that if we would have talked about it when he first died, I don't think we would have been able to. It would have been more of the emotion of what we were seeing on social media to have this discussion. So I think Kevin Samuels, and a lot of people may not want to admit it, I think Kevin Samuels' legacy is going to go down as a truth teller amongst our people. I think that Kevin Samuels, just as much as you have entertainers and people that don't deserve it at the African American Smithsonian Museum, Kevin Samuels should have a place in there. Because literally, when you look at what is provocating, decisive, You know from the thousands of videos that other content creators have made and over the 3 million views of his channel alone as of right now, and the numbers are going to go up, that Kevin Samuels basically shook the culture. And he's done something that in the culture, the black culture in America, we've probably haven't had in the last 20 years other than President Obama. Like it, love it, or hate him, he did something to get the consciousness back and got people talking about the criteria or just relationships in general. So, um, as people that may believe in God or creator or whatever word you want to call him, or even a antagonistic, his time was done and he served his purpose. The
Agreed.
purpose of us having this conversation was to, you know, understand that he was complex individual. Um, you know, may he rest in peace. May his legacy live on. I guess for those that believe in that, it's very interesting. I just think that we need to continue, and it was probably gonna continue of these type of discussions and what we all want and what we expect from each other.
Right.
With that, this is the conclusion of episode 6 of Conversations with Friends. Like I said, I'm giving my flowers to my co-host because she definitely be on point with her stuff. I tell you, she raises the bar, so to say. So, you guys have a blessed week. Take care,
There's a
and
conversation.
we will see you again soon. And in the words
I
of
need
my
to
butt,
really say this. I take no particular pride or pleasure in doing shows like this because I know it triggers certain black women. I know they do. I know some of them get pissed. I've heard women on YouTube saying things that they don't watch the show end to end, and I'm not gonna and that's not gonna change anything because there are far more women and far women who are listening. And who are the recipients? The women who listen end to end and are saying, "Well, you've changed my life. You've helped me look at this way or that way." Those women are benefiting, and guarantee when those women come into contact with men doing something, they all benefit. We're better off working with each other, trying to understand one another. None of us are perfect. Certainly not me. I ain't shit. I got a lot of problems. It's like anybody else. We all got issues. But just like Ice Cube, when the brother steps up to do something, support. Find ways to support. Even if you have an issue with something it's doing, can you find 4 or 5 things about it that you like before you start off with the one thing you don't like? Because you cannot keep painting black men in this ain't shit box. They don't all fit there. And brothers are starting to push back and say, no, 51% of us are single and childless and 64% in the middle class. They're here. Can you interact with them just in a peaceful, civil way? If you never get married and never have kids, can you have a higher quality of life? Can you just be happy? Can you stop walking through life with your hands up ready to fight the reflection of you, the opposite sex reflection of you?